Oh, I feel for my brother. Feel for my brother. You know, a lot of my brothers are dead or gone, but they've been hanging on the block a little too long. What can I say? I hope they live to see a brighter day. And the ones that are doing fine, God bless you, cause you're doing fine. At the end of the day, don't forget about me. As days turn to weeks, and weeks turn to years, oh, I feel for my brother. And as time passes by, I see you're not satisfied. Oh, I feel for my brother. Feel for my brother. The street life used to be on, straight up hustling till the break of dawn. Taught me how to do wrong right. Everything is tight, but somehow things started to change. Try to get us straight up out of the game. You couldn't see what I saw. The empire was starting to fall, and everything that I said never seemed to get into your head. I tried to do the right thing, living my life with the words that I sing. Now tell me, I wanted to know what happened to my best friend. As days turn to weeks, and weeks turn to years, I feel for my brother. Feel for my brother. And as time passes by, I see you're not satisfied. Oh, I feel for my brother. Feel for my brother. I miss you, man. You're my brother. I said I love you, babe. I won't forget you, no. Oh, no, no. Oh, no, no, no. Sometimes I feel life is cheap. Everything's disposable and so are we. Can you hear me? Life is real, yeah. And if there's a heaven above, please start showing a brother real love. Cause I wanna go home. Oh, I feel for my brother. I miss you, man. Oh, I feel for my brother. You're my brother. I feel for my brother. Oh, no, no. Feel for my brother. I wanna go home. I feel for my brother. I won't forget you, no. I feel for my brother. I feel for my brother. I feel. Oh, I feel for my brother. I feel for my brother.
Gracious God, creator of the universe, and yet the lover of my soul. Alpha and Omega, and yet I can call you friend. I don't have to beg you for anything, but I can thank you for everything. God, I thank you because this is the day that you have made, and I can rejoice and be glad in it. Thank you for this day of magnificence and glory and splendor. God, I thank you for life, health, and for strength. I thank you for soundness of mind. I thank you for peace, love, and joy. I thank you for the essence of you that envelops me right now, from the crown of my head to the soles of my feet. We thank you for this day of manifestation. We thank you for the day of revelation. We thank you for the day of impartation. We thank you as you move in the midst of your people to bring us to the greatest times that we've ever seen since the foundation of the world. Thank you, Lord, that for this time and for this season, you've allowed us to be a part of your move in the face of the earth. I thank you, God, for the revolution that you're bringing forth, God, even in the midst of the earth right now. And I thank you for the opportunity to be a part of what you're doing in this hour, because in the last days, saith God, you said you would pour out your spirit on all flesh. And so now we thank you for the pouring out. God, I thank you for the rain and the move of your spirit. I thank you for fresh oil. I thank you for new wine. I thank you for the new thing that you're doing. I thank you now that it does spring forth. I thank you, Lord, that you've called us to be the head and not the tail. You've called us to be above only and not beneath. You've called us to be the lender and not the borrower. You've called, God, that our storehouses would be full and increase. God, I thank you because even I decree and declare that the people under the sound of my voice even now are moving in the might of your strength. Not by might nor by power, but by your spirit. I thank you for those that are the sons and daughters of God that are called because they walk not after the flesh, but after your spirit. I thank you for the rising up of the people of your kingdom. I thank you that your kingdom come. I thank you that your will be done, even now in earth as it is in heaven. I thank you, Lord, because you are moving in the midst of your people mightily as never before. Raise us up, oh God, to the standard of what you've called us to be. God, I thank you for the standard of greatness. I thank you for the standard of holiness. I thank you for the standard of moving as the sons and daughters of yours, and not as vagabonds, not as those that never knew you, not as those that are confused and confounded, but God, those that know who they are in you. I thank you for the knowing. I thank you, God, for knowing you. I thank you for knowing your presence. Thank you for knowing your Holy Ghost power that gives us the ability to be successful. Your anointing that gives us the power to rise up and be called blessed. Thank you for that is in us. Thank you, God, for all things that pertain to life and godliness. Thank you because we are not confused. We are not deceived. And we thank you for that clarity of mind and the clarity of vision that allows us to walk forth as kings and queens, as princes and princesses in the kingdom that walk in the earth. We thank you that we are your beloved, and we rise up as the apple of your eye. We rise up, oh God, as those that you love with all of your heart. And God, we love you back. I thank you for soundness of mind. I thank you for soundness of spirit. I thank you that healing is our bread. Healing is our deliverance. By the stripes of Jesus, we're already healed. And we speak forth that healing even now for those that need it. Thank you, God, for every stripe that was taken. Thank you for the bruising. Thank you that he was wounded for our transgressions, bruised for our iniquities. The chastisement of our peace was upon him. God, with those same stripes we declare and we speak healing in Jesus' name. We give you glory. We give you peace. We give you honor. We give you blessing. We give you might. We ascribe all of these things unto you because they are yours. Thank you. The fruit of my lips giving thanks unto your name. Ever giving you all that is yours. Glory, honor, power, dominion, majesty. It's yours. I decree it and I speak it. In the mighty name of Jesus, it is so. Amen and amen. Good morning, good morning, good morning. It is so good to see you on this fine day. This is Wednesday. Oh my goodness, can you believe the week is half gone? This is Wednesday, October the 14th in the year 2020. And it's a good day to be alive. I tell you what, so glad I'm here. I've got life, I've got health, I've got strength. I'm here with my friends on this morning, and I am so glad for each of you that thought it well to stop by and just chat with me on this fine day. Well, we talk about Grandpa Holmes's chair, and we look at the individuals that get up in here ASAP, and Grandpa Holmes's chair goes to BTD Mom. And I am so happy for her on today. Let me, I gotta hit the right button. Yay! I'm hitting all kind of buttons this morning, all kind of things going on up in here. But anyway, BTD Mom, I am so glad that you made it here first thing this morning, and I'm happy for you. I want to say good morning, BTD Mom. I want to say good morning to the Rebel Inc. I want to say good morning to SK, Jams, JJ, Dr. J. LeRae, welcome back. I want to say good morning to Teresa Jones in the house, and I appreciate everybody else that may not be in my chat, but you're here. Oh, we are babe. I appreciate you this morning. I appreciate you. We are babe in the house. Yes, yes, yes. Not yes. Yes, yes. She's in the house. She's in the house. Well, you know how we do. The Rebel Inc. last night had a marvelous show. We had a good time in the house of Rebel. She is my corporate sponsor, and so I want you to pause. Station identification. Check out therebelinc.com. Yes, therebelinc.com. I want you to check her out. I'm wearing Love Over Hate today. This is a design. I love all of her designs. You don't just have to be the message, rather. You can wear the message. We encourage you to do that by subscribing to what you can get in the collections from the Rebel Inc. I'm trying to get my next commercial queued up because I want to share something from station identification. Okay, I think we got it going. You know, this is a one-man operation, a one-person operation. So, you all have to put up with me and take the best that you can get with me. And I hope that you enjoy the production that we do every morning. I thought this was a good commercial, and I wanted to bring it to you on this fine day. Watch this.
Rough 4 years.
You can say that again.
The Lincoln Project is responsible for the content of this advertising.
Did you like that? I hope that you did. Shame.
man's
I'm
balls.
telling you, shame on
Nice.
everybody. Shame on everybody. Shame, shame, shame. Y'all know. Listen, after 4 years, that in actuality, unfortunately, this brother has had his way. But in 2020, this is what's about to happen.
Shame. Shame. Shame.
Shame on all of them. And at this point, they ought to feel some kind of way when they woke up in the morning and realized that they were COVID infested and everything else. They really should have felt some kind of way. I thought that was a great commercial. I wanted to share it on my show today, and I hope you enjoyed that message. Probably coming from somewhere deep down in my psyche. When I saw it, it just spoke to me. So I just couldn't turn it loose. I had to unleash it on y'all this morning here in Yes You OQ 101 Just 3 and Make You. But let me tell you what. This is the good news. They are saying, I want to get the number right. I want to get the number right of how many people have already voted. Have you voted? I hope that you have. I hope that you have voted. Now, I really hope that you voted the way that I'd love for you to vote. But if you didn't, just as long as you get out there to those polls and use your voice at the poll, that's what I want you to do. I want to say it was something like 11 million. I didn't want to misquote the number, so I was trying to find that particular article this morning. But listen, if 11 million folk, you going this morning to Rebel, I want you to do it. Do it, girl. Do it. Oh, I also, before I go further, I want to say I thank you to BTD Mom. I thank you to SK and 8843. And I thank you to Rhonda Royal because they have become my personal donors. And I want to say thank you for supporting this platform and this broadcast every morning. I appreciate you with your finance. Now, as I said, I want to say they said like something like 11 million people have already voted. And I hope that means that this is not getting ready to go the Trump way. I hope that we are voting. Now, like I mentioned on yesterday, there's that reality that I appreciate you, Rhonda. I appreciate you all. Your love is shown not only in word, but in deed. And I just want to make known those that sponsor this show and let you know I really appreciate you. I really appreciate you. Now, as I said, 11 million folk. I hope that is going to unseat this madman. Yes, this man. And I'm really, as I've said before, I, as many of you know me personally, am not a person that will get up and express any kind of partisanship. I can't talk this morning. Any kind of partisanship. But this situation's critical. Situation's critical. Keep it going. Vote, vote, vote. That's it, SK. I think you voted a couple of weeks ago. Keep it going. My mother has voted. I tried to vote. I gotta go, and that line was so long, Lord Jesus, today. And I thought out here in Independence, I was going to get in and get out in short order, but good Lord, from Zion, that line is going all the way and wrapping around the streets and down the corners. And I said, oh my goodness. But then I'm hearing that people have been standing out and in excess of 10 hours to vote. Now, beloved, I want you to understand that's not by accident. That is another form of voter suppression. The electorate will need to comply with their population's vote. That's what he is going after. I hear you, sis. You know, at the end of the day, they're pulling out all the stops, trying to get things to swing in Trump's way. When I looked at the reports this morning, Biden is up in the polls by 16 points. However, even though I hear that 16-point lead, I still want you all to get out there and vote. Because you know what happened The polls had Hillary in a whole nother scenario. And at the end of the day, we got what we got. What do you say? It is what it is. We got what we got. And what we got, could it be? Could it be? The devil? That's what we got, y'all. That's what we got. Ain't nothing but that old slimy devil. I'm trying to tell you. So at the end of the day, listen, we are tired of the devil.
Ain't nothing but the devil.
That's all it is. Ain't nothing but the devil. And we are absolutely... I need the shade. Help me out there, Monica. Help me out. I need the shade. Because at the end of the day, we, just like that commercial saw, have had all that we can take till we can't take no more. It's like they woke up in the morning and realized they had been used, abused, cast aside. And I hope you don't make that mistake again. That's all I got to say. But at the end of the day, you got Beelzebub. Y'all remember the fly? The fly that was prophesying? The fly that landed in that man's head? Don't forget the fly. Superfly. The fly knows. The fly knows when it smells something dead. The fly knows when it's sitting on top of poop. The fly knows when there's a plague at hand. And that fly told you everything you needed to know about this administration. And that's all I got to say about that. Because at the end of the day, they are full.
Ain't nothing but the devil.
It ain't nothing but the devil. So I want you landed on that old devil. We are, baby. Yes, they did, Shea Butter. Landed on that old devil so you can identify. It said, let me make it plain. Let me make it clear. Whoever's head I stand upon. Whoever's head I light upon. Whoever's head I just sit. Make it a couch. Relax. Pull out my smokes and my cigarette. Light it up. Lounge on back. Whoever's head I do that to. You know without a shadow of a doubt.
Ain't nothing but the devil.
So I hope you got the message loud and clear. Because Lord knows we have had enough. Now, I want to go here real quickly. Ahmaud Arbery, that case is back in the news this morning because the third party who was filming and tried to say he was innocent, he didn't have anything rested upon him. Yes, SK, it just rested upon him. I love y'all. I love y'all. This is why I like getting up in the morning, every morning. Yes, you, O cubed, one-on-one, just me and you. Cause y'all tickle my tickle box. I mean my rib cages. I mean all down in my gut and my shondo. Y'all have me cracking up. Wait a minute, We Are Babe. I missed yours earlier. Do. And yes, it rested upon him. I love y'all. This Joker, now they have found the gentleman that filmed the shooting and said he was innocent. Don't lump me in with these folks. They have now found a series of racist text messages. I mean to tell you, these folks, if they tried, they can't come up with a decent lie. At the end of the day, sir, yes, you didn't just haphazardly show up to this lynching and you didn't just accidentally push record, and you weren't just by circumstance happening to be there. You, sir, were complicit and you're racist. And at the end of the day, I want you to understand that just like your others that are being found guilty, hopefully, you are another. That could it be? Could it be? The devil? You're not getting off that easily, sir. And I am, really, are we surprised? But here we are, how many months later? Reveal it all in 2020. He was part of the crew. That's all I gotta say, Chris. He was part of the crew. So while he tried to distance himself and make it sound like, I have no idea, I'm not affiliated with these people, give us a break. So now that we have so much shade, I gotta get all my shade. Shade! 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 Do you get what I'm saying? Shade! This brother is... Yes, I have props. The Rebel Inc. And I have some more. I just didn't get them all together this morning. But you come back same bat time, same bat station tomorrow, and you gonna get all my props. I got some new ones I'm ready to lay on you. I gotta keep the show fresh. At the end of the day, nothing but shade to this man, because we knew from the beginning he was a party to this whole debacle. Meanwhile, back at the ranch, the wife of the Pennsylvania lieutenant governor has been called the N-word because she's mixed. Could it be? Y'all ain't ready for me. Could it be? The devil? Nothing but that old slimy devil. Because here we are in 2020. And why and how have we gotten so overt to go to the lieutenant governor and publicly call her the N-word? It's the devil, Chris. Tis him. Tis him. At the end of the day, all of this has been fueled by the leadership that has been divisive, that has been racist, that has been ugly, that has been everything that white supremacy could ask him to be, and it's coming out. One of the things that I'm not going to go all the way through, but an article that came out this morning, yes, BTD mom, all of that, and all of them with shade. All of them with shade. The article reads that there was a teenager that was jumped on and beaten for a young black teen by a white supremacist who was mad because he had on a shirt that said Black Lives Matter. Now, in case you didn't know, Black Lives Matter is a statement for black people that we deserve to be treated as humans. We deserve to be treated and cared for like our counterparts. We deserve to eliminate the two justices system and have one single justice with liberty and justice for all. That's all Black Lives Matter is about. It's been made out to be an extremist group. Now, this will tell you right here, when your leadership is telling you that Black Lives Matter, which is almost completely, outside of agitators that have come in, almost completely nonviolent in origin. The demonstrations, the protests, everything, they have been done decently and in order. Now, and largely unarmed, without weapons. And then we'll have leadership that will take a group of rowdy, angry, white supremacist white men and say they're nice people. Oh, okay. You get the picture? Therein lies the problem. And having been given the orders to stand back and stand by, they now feel that they're going out and physically, because listen, I'm not going to go through them all because I probably could pull out 10 different stories easily, nationwide, of not only Kens, but Karens too, that are feeling quite emboldened. And they're going out and they are wreaking havoc on people for no reason. One woman sicked her dog. What are we doing? Now, if that is not reminiscent of slavery days, when we decide we've had enough and we leaving this plantation because we choose to, and we leave the plantation and the next thing we hear, the dogs. Is this not reminiscent of the days? And if we cannot see how many steps backwards some in this country would like for this country to continue making, I don't know what else I can say, because it's as plain as the nose on your face. But at the end of the day, this is what I'm loving right now. I was watching an activist talk in Atlanta on yesterday, and as they were galvanizing themselves for the vote, she said to them, and I loved it, we are the founders of, oh my God, let me get my stuff ready because I really gotta work this up. We are the founders of the new America. She said, as you walk into that booth to vote, I want you to realize that a new America is on the horizon. Heck, we were the forced founders of the old one too. Yes, we were. And to that, I give a standing ovation. Tell the young people. Now that's the wrong one. Now, that ain't where I'm trying to go. My finger, I fat fingered that, y'all, because that wasn't no fail. So just so I can make it right. Let somebody be confused. Yes, we built the old and we're forming the new. Yes, we are. So at the end of the day, as she stood there and talked to those young people, I was thrilled for them to have an idea planted in them, if they didn't already have the vision, that we are founding a new America. And I say this, we are also founding a new world. Change gonna come, y'all. And a change is here. You better ask somebody. And so even today, as you leave this broadcast, I hope you leave this broadcast feeling like you are part of those foundings, those founding fathers and mothers, sisters and brothers. We are rising up. And I love it. I love it. Honey, she had me charged up. I was almost ready to get all down in my shando and start bucking. Oh my god. Hup, hup, hup. I felt it just like that, y'all. I really did. I felt it just like that. That's the way I felt it. I felt it. Yeah, I'm gonna let that music go just a second. I'm gonna get me some, baby. I'm gonna get me some. Yes, I'm telling you. That's how I feel about being founders of this new movement. And I'm excited about it. I really, really am. Honey, some folks here, some folks are hearing thunder. Some folks are hearing all kind of stuff. But listen, at the end of the day, I see victory. I got to unshade on that, Monica. Hey! So I want you all to get that down in your minds. We are founding a new America, and I believe that with all my heart. Those of you that come in and chat with me on a regular, and you know we've been talking about this on a daily, I appreciate you because we feel the call to being founders of what is about to happen in this hour. Now, we wake up this morning, and unfortunately, the Montana mom that's been missing since September was found dead in her car inside a storage container. Prayers, condolences, and everything else to her family that survives. And our prayers are really going up because these are trying times. These are trying times. Now, this is what I really enjoyed out of the Huffington Post. And it came from, I really like my guy, Anderson Cooper. And he did a special interview with a young man by the name of Tony Green. And he comes back after having been prayers going up. After having been one of the, as my brother-in-law aptly says, the Trumpansies that really was doing COVID is fake, COVID is not real, COVID is a lie. So Anderson did an interview with this brother by the name again of, I know his last name is Green, Tony Green. Tony Green gives a very, very detailed account. And I think this is good because something needed to counter the president who had COVID. By the way, I was listening to some doctors and they were talking on yesterday, and they believe that really 45 actually had COVID way before we knew it, long before we knew it. And that what we're seeing, the treatment that he got, especially with the steroids, the medications that he was given, and the cocktail, was because they believed that he was suffering from COVID. You believe that too, Chris? They believe that he is actually suffering from COVID pneumonia. That his symptoms, that the medications, and these are from doctors that have been on the front line dealing with COVID patients throughout this whole entire pandemic. And so they are saying they really believe that's why his doctors refuse to give any information about when he contracted, when his tests started coming back negative and that kind of thing. Now, we've already seen them lie because the doctor came out and said he was not given supplemental oxygen and, you know, yada, yada, yada. He's healthy and da-da-da. And listen, Meadows, the chief of staff at the White House, was like, no, y'all, the situation was bad. It was bad up in there. And that man was given oxygen. So we saw the doctor come back the next day, hours later, the next day, and admit, because there were too many people that were not willing to go along with the lie, and the word was put out there. And so they come back, yes, he was put on supplemental oxygen 2 different times. So we see that they will lie. But at the end of the day, the doctors panel they were all discussing, and I found it very, very intriguing. And they were talking based on the symptoms, based on how he was looking, going even back to the point of the debates and what he looked like at the debates, and why they conveniently were too late to get tested, accidentally, on purpose, shall we say, got there too late to get tested, and they feel like really, the back pedal. It's always the back pedal, and they conveniently got there too late for him to be tested, and they were working on the honors system. Now, y'all know you can't work no honor system with 45. And I look at the Democrats and I look at the people that put that together, and I'm saying, are y'all smoking crack? What's going on here? You know, this man, even though he's running around touting that he's the law and order president, you know he's gonna break every law that y'all give him. If you give him a law, he's gonna break it to prove that, just so he can prove he can break it. I really believe this about this man. It's a big crack with a man who has no honor. And so that idea is prevailing amongst the doctors, that they really are believing that, oh, welcome, thank you for liking it. They're really believing that at the end of the day, that he really did have the disease much prior to the time of us knowing that he had it. And so at the end of the day, the doctors were coming together in that conversation. It was very, very enlightening. I really enjoyed it. And at the same time, I know as I talk to each of you, that $64,000 question is out there. Somebody called me last night and I talked with them, and she was just sharing with me, sister to sister. And she's my age, maybe a few years older. But she was just sharing how concerned she is, because we still lack a lot of the information as to how to know. You know, she said, anytime I feel something, you know, in my mind, you know, I just have this fear that I have COVID, you know, and I don't know what the symptoms are, and you don't know what separates the people that get it and survive and the people that don't get it and expire. She said it's just so much of the unknown. So as I listened to those doctors talk on yesterday, and I really do agree, as I talked with my sis on yesterday, it would be a beautiful thing if they could put something out that really tracked a lot of the information. And I know that it's dynamic, it's changing daily. But going back to Anderson Cooper, and the beauty of what he did is he got this young man who was I don't believe it's real brother. And he refused the mask, and he refused this, and he refused that. And he came back in a very, very heart-wrenching and heartfelt interview, because he began to talk about how he had 12 family members, 12 family members that fell ill, and several of which died. And he talked about his emotional devastation watching his family just be emaciated by this virus that we have, as he said, if any of them, Borgno, America is it's very scoffed when it comes to COVID. And you expect this from a third world country. It is insane. It absolutely is, without a doubt. And so you had this brother who was really contrite, and he basically came to Anderson in this interview to really tell people, I dismiss this. Our whole family dismissed this. Oh, let me get the number right. 14 family members. I just look at that, and they lived in Texas. Just FYI, that's where they came from. I know it's mortifying. It's absolutely mortifying. They all lived in Texas, and they all gathered at a small home gathering the weekend of June the 12th. A small home gathering the weekend of June the 12th. And they felt like, hey, you know, we don't need the mask. We don't need to do anything in the way of social distancing. It's a small group. We at the house. It doesn't matter. But see, this is what people have to understand about masking. If you are going to go around other people and you've been out there frolicking about, you need to wear a mask to protect the other people. I don't care. You say, I'm strong, I'm healthy, I'm not going to get it. And the brother find out he got it himself, but he survived. But he had to watch other family members that were at that event that did not. Why? Because we have leadership that keeps walking around. I told y'all the other day they had to stop him. He wanted to put on a shirt, a Superman shirt under his regular shirt and rip it off. I'm Superman. I beat the virus. I'm immune to it. All of these things that this man is saying are not true. And this was the greatest fear of the epidemiologists, was that he was going to survive. And not just, we want him to survive. They weren't trying to kill the man. But they were afraid he was going to turn around and do just exactly what he's done. Get in an airplane or a helicopter, fly him back to the White House lawn, make his triumphal exit from the helicopter. Don't go in the regular door. We've got to march up the flights of steps, ascend out onto the balcony, and then pose. I got a shade. Monica, I got a shade. I got a shade right here. I got a shade. I can't leave my shades up on this. I got a shade. And so thank you to this young man that was willing to come forward like he's invincible, Chris. But he took every dose of everything they pumped into his body. How about that? Listen. Now, if you are so invincible, then why didn't you turn down all of those drugs that nobody else can get?
Asking for a friend.
Why? Why? Come on.
Asking for a friend.
Turn it down if you all of that. But then to turn around and really, I'm telling you, to really get this idea in front of the people, it's nothing. Look at me, because I got in the ring with Corona and I knocked it out. Oh, no. Boo! You didn't knock anything out. And so at the end of the day, oh, you right. It ain't over. We are, babe. It ain't over. He's still fighting. And see, this is the thing that some doctors have said. It is highly possible, probable, and likely that he's going to have some kind of backset. Because a lot of this that he's out here flitting about, they got him cranked up on some steroids. And those steroids are not only to help him breathe, but as they said, some of those steroids will give you that sense of invincibility. I'm Superman. And at the end of the day, he's doing okay because he is still being actively treated. That's the only reason why. And I think we have to understand, yes, he's going to fool around and thin out the ranks of the racists. Could he? Listen, if the racists could be thinned out, if the racists could be thinned out, wouldn't that be a beautiful thing? That's exactly right, Jams JJ. You can only take steroids for so long. And at this point, I suspect that he's going to be demanding that his medical teams continue to give them to him even after he's long past the time that he should be taking them. And so, you know, you have to look at all of that and say, my goodness, what are we really doing here? What are we really doing here? And I do understand he has some heart and health conditions pre-existing. And so you wonder how long is his body going to keep this up? You know, I tell you, but it will kill him. You're right, Jams JJ. It will kill him. And all of this so that he can stroke his ego. This man is beyond a narcissist. He's beyond an egomaniac. Have we seen anything the likes of him? I don't know. But at the same time, you know what? I'm going to tell the truth. I really feel like, yep, when the time is up, the truth's going to show and reveal his condition. I almost feel like, you know the story of Nero who fiddled while Rome burnt. I feel like we're looking at Nero reincarnated. Like Nero came back from the dead. And while he is out here watching the people die, he's at a baseball game. It'll just disappear. It's just gonna go away. And tomorrow, gone! Unbelievable. Just absolutely, positively unbelievable. Which keeps me in the position of saying, listen, could it be? Could it be? The devil? You wasn't ready for the organ rebel. I got one on you. I knew you were ready. And there's more to come. We are looking at a conglomerate of imbeciles in one body. Does he have multiple personality disorder? Is it MPD? A multitude, a conglomerate of imbeciles in two mints in one body. Two dunces in one body. Two imbeciles in one body. His family and congressional enablers are going to let him kill himself. And you know, it's almost like, I know, Rebel, all of them in one in conglomerate of imbeciles. I got to remember that one. I mean, Nero, Hitler, you name them. He's got them all wrapped up in that one body. And that's sad. I mean, it really is. And at the end of the day, there's something in me that almost feels sorry for the man. Then I come back to my senses. Because at the end of the day, the man is sick. The man is sick. And there's no doubt about that. The man is sick. The alum, they have returned. It's the return, not the return of the Mac, it's the return of the cracks. You have all of these cracked minds in this one man's body, and he just keeps going. He just keeps going. I have to say, I'm still concerned, very, very concerned, because there are so many ego over health, ego over everything. There's no balance whatsoever. The temperance that he lacks is just unbelievable. So when you get finished with it, you know, you really have to say thank you to this young man, because I'm sure in his young pride, it took something to swallow his pride But there was enough humanity in him to come out and say, 14 of my family members who were dismissive of this disease, we've all been impacted in a way that we'll never get back. Never get back. And that's where my heart breaks, beloved, because I'm like, how can you watch this level of suffering in your people, the people that you were voted to protect, to defend, to take care of? And now in the year 2020, 14 family members out of one family. That's hard, y'all. That's hard. And that's a high price to pay for the people that are listening to this man. And there are a lot of people that still, I couldn't believe yesterday the number of people that were going right along. See, he came to show us from the rally, interviewed people from the rally. This came to show us that this virus isn't as bad as the press keeps making it out to be. And that's why Dr. Fauci is burning up hot. That man is mad. That man is going through the White House just breaking up stuff. He said, what? He used my name? He said, I said, what? That man is mad. He's mad. And he has all year long tried to cover this man. The man knows nothing about doing right. I'm telling you. I'm telling you. And I'm hopeful that at some point, Dr. Fauci will have had enough and come on out and tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Wait for your helicopter and research treatment, okay? I'm trying to tell you. Somebody needs to pay attention. And going back to what my brother said, at the end of the day, this is like third world country stuff. This is third world country. And we want to tout that we are the leader of the free world. You know what? We are coming back, but we got to deal with the truth of where we are. And I ain't lying. This for years, oh my God, this for years has been rough. However, as I listened to my sister the other day, we are founders of a new America. And I want you to believe that, because that's where we're going. And we're going to talk today. I want to cover, and I may start a little early because I haven't had all of the time in the past couple of days to really get in, because there's more of the same. The stories are just, now what I do want to say, hooray, McConnell's challenger in Kentucky is whooping that man's tail. And it's a woman too. Y'all know McConnell is hot. That woman called him on the carpet. She challenged his feet to the fire. I mean, she put him there. He is scared, we are, babe. He is scared. Because that sister got his back against the wall, and he couldn't do nothing but a nervous laugh. He came out with a nervous laugh. And then the people, baby, she was like, it's not funny. We're talking about people's lives here. And you sitting over here laughing? I don't care if it was a nervous laugh. A laugh is a laugh. Because you know full and darn well that in all of these years of being here, and they had this statistic, when Mitch McConnell went to the Senate, he was poor as dirt. And I want to say that man right now is ranked number 4 or 5 of the wealthiest, richest men in the Senate. Where did that money come from, Mitch? Where did the money come from, Mitch? I just want to know.
Asking for a friend.
Where did the money come from, Mitch? And so I want that sister. Yeah, we need term limits. We need term limits for all of them. Because there's no reason why you should come in spit poor and walk out filthy rich just because you set your tail in a chair for X number of years and did nothing. As the woman said, you have not brought any positivity, because Kentucky at the end of the day is still at the bottom of the barrel. How did you come out filthy rich and Kentucky is suffering? Can somebody please explain that to me? We need term limits with a quickness, because all of this foolishness that they're doing would not be possible if they didn't have enabling ability. You got the corporations, and I saw they said within the first year, as a matter of fact, it wasn't even a year, I want to say it was months. I don't want to misquote the number of months. The amount of corporate sponsorship and funding that they receive when they sit in that chair upon election is huge. And this is why I say corporate sponsorship and all of this money from super PACs needs to be eliminated, because it never should have been about money. It never should have been about money. There's no reason why, as soon as your hips hit a chair, that you got corporations coming to you with money. It's flat out bribery. And these people are full of it. And if the truth be told, that is a perfect example as to why every time they talk about bailout money, it's always to the corporations. You think? When I own you lock, stock, and barrel, who do you think I'm going to make laws and legislation and bailouts for? The people that hold my chain. So at the end of the day, come in flat broke, leave out filthy rich. I hope she mops him up on the floor, because he needs to go. And Lindsey Graham too. Get out! And we don't want you back. We've had enough. We're on the verge of founding a healthy America, a right America, a diverse America, a caring America. I hope Kentucky comes together and gets it done. I've been saying it for a month now. Kentucky. I don't need my old Kentucky home. I don't even live there. But please, I feel like begging, please. Yes, the spirit of James Brown. Please. Get rid of these jokers. They have run amok long enough. And you got Lindsey talking about, mark my words. Yes, I know it's on the record. But if this were to happen in an election year, mark my words. Mark my words. Let this be a record. Put me out, because I would still be opposed. I would be opposed to moving forward to elect a justice. Mark my words and hold me to it.
Why you always lying?
Well, I want y'all to mark his words and hold him to it. He's lying. SK. Lying. And they need to put him out. And I'm going to say this one last time and I'm going to move on, because at the end of the day, what's my ultimate? That you would chair the committee for the hearings to do just what you said you wasn't going to do. And further add salt to an open wound by refusing to be tested for lying Lindsay. That's what he is, baby. That's what he is, lying Lindsay.
Why you always lying?
That's his campaign theme song. At the end of the day, you refuse to take a COVID test when you were right now. The man, the Honorable Lee, come on, Jamie. The Honorable Lee with COVID infected self came out and he refused to wear. So that takes me to someplace I really wasn't trying to go, but since I'm here. That takes me to the point that they are trying to do, as scientists are saying, it's a twisted concept of herd immunity. Usually it deals with the vaccine and that there's a healing that you're looking for in herd immunity. They're using herd immunity. Everybody get the disease, get sick, get well, maybe, die, maybe, but let's everybody just get out here and get it. Insanity. Never in the history of a country have we had leadership that wants to actually provide no kind of public health and public safety for people's lives, that say just get herd immunity and let it go loose, and whoever survives makes it, whoever dies is gone. What are we doing? I've never seen anything like it in my whole life. It's beyond third world. It's beyond third world. But here we are. But while we're here, let's make the best of it. So I'm going to steal some time back, because listen, I'm getting tired of talking about Trump. Ain't y'all getting tired of talking about that man? Hoping more brown and black people will die than whites. That's what they're hoping for, because they know our health care. They know that the disparity in the treatment room. And this is a part that really hasn't been talked about. There was an Asian doctor who began to come out and speak about how Asians going to the hospital were getting poor to no treatment at the hospital, because this man keeps running around talking about the China virus. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Just when you think he's topped himself, he tops himself. But at the end of the day, other people are suffering and other people are going through. So with that in mind, because we got to stop the suffering, we got to stop the pain, we got to stop the dying. And if it's not going to come from the top, it's time for me to change my shades. If it's not going to come from the top, it's going to have to come from the bottom. We are going to have to be the founders of a new world, the founders of a new America, through love. Love is always stronger. Main man, I pray that after Biden is elected, that he'll usher in a spirit of cooperation and genuine concern for the welfare of all Americans. Because at the end of the day, beloved, I don't care. People of Asian descent should not be going through what they're going through right now because of the hatred being spewed by this man. Everybody should be treated. And when you get to the point where it boils over into the fabric of our medicine, where I can be a person that's taken a Hippocratic oath, or I can be a nurse, or I can be whatever level of caregiver, and see someone of Asian descent and mistreat them in the hospital, that's dastardly. That's a dastardly deed. And then we don't even have to talk about brown and black bodies, because we just live in the same existence we've always lived. We get nothing or very little. And so we're coming to a time where we are doing something different. So my word of the day, I'm going to start it a little early. My word of the day is DEI, better known as diversity, inclusion, equity, and inclusion. I want to really kind of bring in some points today, if I might. And I want to get down and dirty. We've been kind of talking at it and talking around it, but I really want to bring it to another level on today of discussion, because I feel like we have got to begin doing what we need to do as founders of this new America, as founders of this new world. What do we need to do? First and foremost, we got to deal with some areas. We got to begin including folks. Diversity, equity, and inclusion is what we're talking about. DEI. You're going to hear much more of this. Now, DEI, diversity, that first word, we'll deal with that one. It's probably more well known in the United States of America. And actually, let me say that really much, because with civil rights and other things that came about in the 50s and 60s, people started having to really march, demand, even after certain areas of the civil rights movement. Again, we said we had that window when Lyndon Baines Johnson and Martin Luther King were meeting, and all of that change in legislation that came during that time window. We look at after King was killed, so much of that stopped. But we still were talking about diversity. I'm going to deal with these real quickly. Diversity recognizes and respects differences. I'm going to say that again. Recognizes and, get that and in there. Conjunction, junction, what's your function? Hooking up words. I need you to recognize and respect differences. The beauty of God's creation is difference. And then I need you to deal with equity. Fair treatment, access, opportunity, and advancement for all. Then I need you to deal with inclusion. Gives an individual value and the feeling of belonging. Now, let me tell you, you see those three speaking points, because this is taken from a model that has come out and evolved. It really is an evolution. It used to be that we just talked about diversity, then we went to diversity and inclusion, and now we've gone DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion, because we begin to realize even with diversity, even with inclusion, people are still lacking equity. From a corporate standpoint is where I've drawn this from. Profitability, innovation, and retention. They begin to realize that if they do not operate a lean company, a lean corporation that begins to incorporate diversity, equity, inclusion, it affects their profitability. It also affects their innovation. Now, I have a lot of reasons why I feel like it affects the innovation, because a lot of times people of color have been those that have brought a tremendous amount of innovation and ingenuity into the workforce. If they're not motivated, if they're not included, and if they're not being paid equitably, if they're not getting the same treatment, access, opportunity, and advancement, it's going to affect how much I'm going to give. And I know even when I was in the corporate arena, you start guarding how much you tell, because they'll pick your brain for everything and pay you nothing. Hello, am I talking to anybody in here? And then retention, because as was a big issue in after the civil rights movement, they kept saying, last one hired, first one fired. Retention is a huge issue. So I want us to start, I want to deal with that just a little bit. If we're going to come to a place of bringing us to the fullness of DEI, we got to really get to a point where we understand how to address all of these different issues. Now, I also want to identify as you go from country to country, because eventually I want to see this same model. I want to see this same concept. And I love the Scrum Alliance is where I'm pulling this from. And it's based out of Norway and the United States. My cousin is a part of it, one of the originators of it. Powerful, powerful movement. And they're doing it with Scrum concepts of the agile environment, and that's a whole nother mouthful of jargon about common workings in the corporate arena. But that's not necessarily, I'm not trying to dump all that on you. I just want you to get the meat of what I'm trying to talk about here. It's understood that if we're going to really move forward and have a full benefit to all of society, that we're going to have to stop and fully engage diversity, equity, and also inclusion if we ever really want to make the strides that we need. So in that, understand that from country to country, that's different, because some countries believe you there's a real strict hierarchy, leadership. You don't challenge leadership. And even in this country, in certain segments, even if we look at religion, you don't, in some churches, you don't challenge leadership. You don't, it's rude. It's an insult. Now, that leadership can be as rude and insulting to you as they want to be, but you don't have the right, if you will. You don't have the space. And we have to deal with the reality of space and making spaces psychologically safe. I want to start right there. So as we're going through this journey, I want everybody to realize you have to keep your environment psychologically safe. I don't care if it's at church. Why will church people not speak to leadership? Because they know it's not psychologically safe. Am I talking to anybody in here? They know they'll get preached at from the pulpit. They know they'll get the beat down. They might get a phone call. They might get yanked from a position that's dear to them. And those positions mean the world. Same. You can carry that across all the institutions. It's the same. Right on up into the workforce. It's the same. Right into your family system. It's the same. You've got to have the ability to make everybody feel like they are valued. Everybody is valued. Everybody brings worth to the table. And everybody is worthy of respect. And I want us to really understand that is a basic. You heard me the other week talking about O cubed and the fact that people have started coming in this platform and sharing and divulging very vulnerable types of information. I'm happy because that says to me they feel psychologically safe to do that. But I also have to continuously reiterate, this must remain a psychologically safe environment, or we will never get to diversity, we will never get to equity, and we will never get to inclusion at the level that it has to be. Because to get there, we must talk. We must communicate one with the other. And that basic foundation must be here. So then I want to go to another thought. They use a model from Scrum. I'm not going to go through all of that because that's not where I'm trying to go. But the tools, I want to talk about the tools that we're dealing with here. Individuals and interactions over processes and tools. If you're going to make a change, you've got to systemically come up with a process as to how that change is going to happen. Oh, that's it. We must engage. We've got to come up with how this change is going to happen. It's going to happen because we're going to sit down, have conversation, talk, Really, Scrum is a framework within which people can address complex and adaptive problems. Thank you, We Are Babe. I appreciate you for dropping that in there. I didn't want to get into a side conversation where people may get confused, but at the same time, thank you for that definition because it is foundational. I was going to try to just take them into initially just some concept. So again, it's a framework within which people can address complex, adaptive. Now, notice the words complex. We know it's going to be complicated. And adaptive, there's a problem that we're going to, in an adaptive way, address, talk about, use our tools for positive change. And we're using this Scrum as a framework. So the first thing, that first pillar, and that's how I want you to think, I want you to look at that. The pillars of what really holds this up. What really makes this work? Transparency is the first pillar. And I'm going to come back and talk about that a little bit later. But right now, I just want you to look at transparency is that first pillar. Inspection is the second pillar. And then adaptation is the third pillar. Transparency, inspection, adaptation. So we're going to look at what is going on. And at this point, I'm going to initially talk about the United States of America. We know, particularly for people of color, actually, let me just deal with all oppressed people. All oppressed people. That's what we're going to talk about. We're moving away from a world of oppressed people. And what did I say on yesterday as well as on Friday? We're moving towards inclusion where if it's 95%, 5%, we don't move until we get those 5% included. Otherwise, we still have exclusion. Yes, we're trying to be just that radical in concept. We want to include that 5% because that 5% is really a matter of addressing if for whatever reason they're outside of the included group. We must have conversation to understand why that exclusion still exists. And we must work processes so that we can adaptively solve that problem, so that we can adaptively solve that problem, so that it can evolve into a place where it's no longer a problem, where we have everybody included. Because to exclude anybody is going to fly in the face and tear down the power of inclusion. And there is power in inclusion. I keep going back to this concept of looking at nature. What do we see? God has everything in nature. And what did I say? In my meditation, who told you it was a weed? Came into my spirit. Who told you it was a weed? Somebody said that's a weed. But is it? Because when you embrace the idea that it's a weed and you decided I gotta kill it, when you killed that weed, you also killed the environment for a ladybug, for a granddaddy longleg, for a katydid, for a lightning bug at night, for somebody that said a kookaburra. One of our friends was on from Australia when we had that conversation. Where are all the kookaburras? When we decided all of these things did not serve our purposes and we eliminated them, they're not important. We eliminated them, destroyed them and discarded it. We eliminated them. Look at the chain reaction of all the other things that we lost. Do you see ladybugs anymore? Do you walk outside at night and see lightning bugs? Do you hear katydids and crickets like you did when you were growing up outside? Do you remember the last time you saw a butterfly? A butterfly. Not to mention, we saw all colors and all species of butterflies. But I'm saying to you, have you even seen a butterfly of any kind? All from somebody saying this is a weed. You still hear crickets, but that's about it. So at the end of the day, what I'm saying is, when we take any area of nature and we say that's a weed, and I'm saying, same way I'm addressing this with plant life, I want you to address this with human life. Anytime we look at some segment of human life and say that's a weed, let's eradicate it. Let's disregard it. Let's disrespect it. Let's oppress it. Let's keep it at a level where there is no equity, where all of the things that we talked about as far as being able to come into a place where, yes, I need to have access. I need to have opportunity. I need to have fair treatment. I need to have advancement at the same level as everybody else. If I'm not operating in that level of equity, and if I'm not allowing every individual to know that they have value and they have a sense of belonging, then I am not operating in the value and the power of DEI. And if I'm telling any group, you have to look like another group, you have to talk like another group, you have to act like another group, or you have to deny who you are in your very existence, I am saying and operating in humanity just like we did in plant life with a weed. You have no value. You've got to go. And so as we come into this place of recognizing we've got to have a new America, and we need to take the model of Scrum. And again, those pillars, we cannot downplay those pillars, y'all. We've got to have the transparency. That's why I said we've got to have a space that is psychologically safe. If I feel like I'm going to come in here and be abused, and I want people to understand this as well, when we come on these channels and we're doing what we do, we still have to have a psychologically safe space. You cannot have individuals that come in and either abuse or are being abused, because the Scrum model, that framework of bringing this into transformative living, founding a new America, founding a new world. When we come in spaces and we operate with one another, we have to be able to be transparent. That can only be done in a safe, emotional, psychological environment. So watch your words and watch how you speak words, because those words have so much power. They have the power to build up. They have the power to tear down. They have the power to destroy a psychologically safe environment. Watch how you talk to your friends. Watch how you talk to your loved ones. I'm going to tell you to watch how you talk to your enemies, if you consider them enemies. But I'm trying to get us to a point where everybody moves away from the enemy model. And I have a friend that I haven't met yet. I have a friend that I haven't understood yet. I have a friend that I don't understand the complexities of them yet, but I'm going to learn. And I'm going to learn by being transparent. I'm going to learn by doing introspection first and foremost. I'm going to go into my own gut and look at Regina. I'm going to go inside and I'm going to make an assessment. Anybody that I consider my enemy, why do I consider them an enemy? Matter of fact, let's just deal with, do you like yourself? I said this on my Facebook page and I posted it in a few locations. It's not somebody else's job to like you. It's your job to like yourself. Like yourself. Inspect that first. Because I contend some of the things that we're looking at, some of the behaviors that are manifesting in people is really because they don't like themselves. So they surely can't like you. And so the world is being traumatized and devastated by people that come out not liking them. They don't like themselves. How can they love you if they can't love themselves? That's a spiritual biblical principle. You got to first love yourself to be able to love others. And I'm going to only love you to the degree that I can love myself. I need to do that inspection. Then I need to stop and as I'm continuing to inspect constantly that introspection, I need to look at and inspect my relationship and how my relationships with other people. What does that look like? And I want you to inspect it not with some level of grading your paper and getting an A. That's why I said there was a preacher. I loved him. John Watson. It's easy to get an A when you grade your own paper. I need you to really, for real. You know how when you sit down and when you were in grade school and the teacher would say what the correct answer was and you knew you got it wrong. These are the instances when they let you grade your own paper and you'd be sitting there, trying to, I'm going to count that right. And then you may write down the answer in your book and go back later on, try to figure it out, whatever the case may be. I need you to do that first. Don't cheat first. I need you check it off. I was wrong. I missed it. Then I need you to go back and rework the problem. Then I need you to go back and get the answer key and then work that thing until you figure it out. Be honest with yourself in that inspection. Because again, we're going to have transparency. So if you've got all this stuff where your paper should be red. It should be so many check marks on your paper. Check, just red all over the place. But you're not being transparent. You didn't check the ones that you really missed. It's going to show up later on. Oh yeah, you may get away with it on that test where the teacher lets you grade your own paper. But there's going to come a bigger test where you're not going to get to grade your own paper. And then we're going to see, it's going to be transparent then. Then we're going to see you were jacked. And that's why the teacher ain't tripping. Go ahead and grade your own paper. Because if you're going to cheat and if you're not going to be truthful with yourself, it's going to tell off on you in the end. It's going to hurt you. It ain't going to hurt me. What you're doing by grading your own paper really means I don't have to go home tonight and sit for an hour and grade all these papers. You're helping me out. But if you're not going to be honest in the way that you grade this paper, you're only hurting yourself. So you're only cheating yourself. We are, babe. You're only cheating yourself. And so I want you to understand when we're coming into bringing about through diversity, equity, and inclusion, when we're talking about bringing about a new world, when we're talking about bringing forth a new America, you've got to be transparent. All of this game playing, all of this false face, all of this masking, all of this, it has got to go. And we got to be transparent with ourselves and with one another. We've got to do the inspection. Got to do the inspection. And then we come back and the adaptation. When we do the adaptation, we're actually doing, what do I need to change? And change it. Coming back, making that assessment. What do I need to do? And then change it. I need to adapt to what I've learned. I need to adapt to what's been realized. I need to adapt. It's not enough just to say, I missed that problem. You got to go back, work that problem until you understand it and can get it right. Go back. Now we're talking about people. We're talking about relationships. We're talking about understanding differences. We're talking about embracing everybody. We're talking about getting 100% inclusion. Not even 99.5 won't do, y'all. We used to sing that in church. 99.5 won't do. It won't do. We need 100% inclusion. And we got to keep working it until we get the 100%. We cannot, we cannot jeopardize the power of the movement by seeing anybody as a weed that is disposable. There are no weeds in this process. There are no, every life, every living, breathing human being that walks the face of this earth, there are no weeds. And I need you to get that down in your shando. Who told you it was a weed? You may need to go back and begin to ask yourself that simple question. Who told you it was a weed? Because I'm telling you, there are so many different areas in my life, even from my religious upbringing, God had to come back and say, who told you it was a weed? Who told you that? I didn't tell you that. Somebody taught you that was a weed. Listen, these folks didn't come out of the womb racist. Somebody taught them that. Somebody taught them that other folks, if they weren't white, if they weren't a certain socioeconomic level of living, income, all of that. Somebody told them everything is included, SK. Everything, every life is included. Who told you it was a weed? Who lied to you? Somebody lied to you. And as a result, there are no more butterflies. As a result, there's no more katydids. As a result, all of the night lightning bugs. But you know, it used to be fun to be able to go outside and wait till it lit up and try to catch it while it was green and pull it off. You can't even do that anymore. Because all of the extracurricular life that was affiliated to what you called a weed is gone. The creativity is gone. The ingenuity is gone. The laughter, the fun, the vivacious life, it's gone because somebody said it's a weed. And I promise you, God didn't say it. The reality is we don't want to take the time, energy, and the effort, because it does take effort to become 100% inclusive. It's easier to exclude than it is to include for those that don't want to be vulnerable. There's a vulnerability. And I say this all the time. You can walk hand in hand without seeing eye to eye. I'm not saying you're going to see eye to eye with everybody that you interact with, but you still learn the means of adaptation that allows you to walk hand in hand. Because something's wrong with you when you make yourself a weed inspector. There's something going on in your inward and inner workings when you, as a weed inspector, cannot walk hand in hand with your brothers and sisters. I don't care who they are. I don't care who they are. I don't care who they are. And then when you got religion running around teaching you and telling you that you're right to exclude, for whatever reason. Because listen, all of the Jew baiting, all of the racist rhetoric that our white supremacist brothers and sisters are spewing, they believe they're quoting it from the Bible. They believe they're quoting it according to God's word. And I still hear the Spirit saying, who told you it was a weed? Who told you it was a weed? So when we get to, I'm gonna look at this next one and we're moving on. So when we get to inspection and adapting, we're really talking about learning and changing. I've got to come to a point where I embrace my brothers and my sisters for the purpose of learning and changing. Don't come in with the preconceived idea. That's what prejudice is. If you don't know, don't walk in the door acting like you know. And by all means, if you heard it through the grapevine, be quiet because you don't know. Until you've heard it from an individual's mouth that's in question, do not presuppose anything. I don't care what you read. Books are wrong. I don't care what somebody told you. I need you to get to the source. And then as you learn, I need you to change. I need you to change. I'm so glad. Thank you, We Are Babe. Your Scrum stand-up starts in 10. I love you. I love you. Thank you for coming in. I need you to change. I need you to look at yourself and not everybody else. Listen, it's real work. This is real work. This is real work, y'all. And see, if we thought that we were going to come in and just spew a few platitudes, run out the door, and everything was going to change and be honky-dory, we're deceiving ourselves. It's going to take work. We didn't get here overnight. We're not going to get out of here overnight. There are no magic wands. There is no panacea of all time to just take and all of a sudden everybody's healed, everybody's well. It doesn't work like that, beloved. We're going to have to really, really do some work. And we've got to be, that brings me right on to my next slide. Commitment. Yeah, SK8843. It is going to be real work. First thing at the top of my circle is that you've got to have a commitment. I'm committed to this. I'm not doing it sometimes, and then other times I'm not committed. Well, you know, no. Are you committed? Because if I know that I must create a psychologically safe environment, am I committed that I'm not going to be a party to making this environment unsafe? Am I committed to that? It's not a matter of looking at you. No. Are you personally committed? And stop looking outward and look inward. Are you committed to making sure that your words don't hurt? Are you committed to making sure that your words are not racist? Are you committed to making sure that you will look inwardly, transparent at yourself, at your own stuff, at your own mess, and clean it up? Are you committed that if we ask you to grade your own paper, that you're not going to cheat? Are you committed? We need and have got to have that commitment. And to make that commitment, you got to have some courage. You got to come somewhere. And that's why I'm so upset with government right now. That's why I'm so upset with both the Democrats and the Republicans. That's why I'm so upset with all of the racism that I see, because that is the way of cowards. I can't find anybody with courage. That's why I wanted to really take the opportunity to talk about that young man today, because he had the courage to say, yes, we were completely dismissive. And out of that attitude of being completely dismissive, 14 of us have paid a great price. That takes courage. And that's what our president didn't have, in the ability to come back and say, oh my goodness, you all, I went through COVID. I was wrong. It is real. It's not going to just go away. There's so many things that he could have done for the purpose of squashing COVID if he had only had courage, but he doesn't have any. But you got to have courage to make this journey. And then I need you to focus. Too many times we're going all over the place. Guard your energy. Focus it. I'm going to say it again. Guard your energy. And focus. If I only had a brain, Rhonda. If I only had a brain. That's what he's saying. If I only had a brain. Guard your energy and focus it. That's laser. The difference between incandescent light and all the other kind of lights that you have. Laser, that's focused light. I need you to be laser. And I won't even go through all the differences of how laser surgery can operate. And then you've got to have an openness. We're still speaking to that transparency. Still speaking to that safe psychological environment so that everybody can be open, because everybody has a story to tell. Everybody has a reason. Everybody has something that explains, how did we get here? And I've got to be open to understand my own, how did I get here? But I've also got to be open to hear your, how did you get here? And last but certainly not least, respect. If we're not going to respect one another, we are not going to be able to do this. Respect at every level. I will not be disrespected, and I will not disrespect. And hear me when I say, I need to pay attention when I'm being disrespected, to not become disrespectful ourselves. I said a mouthful right there. Even when we are being disrespected, not to become disrespectful ourselves, because we made a commitment. And we put courage with that commitment. That I'm going to take the high road. I don't care how low you go. How low can you go? Can you get down low? All the way to the floor. I will respect myself enough that I'm not going to lower myself to where you are. If you're down groveling in the dirt, because that ain't me. I'm a queen. That ain't me. I'm a king. I'm a lion. And you're going to hear me roar. So that's it. You got to double check yourself. You got to double check yourself. Diversity. Inclusion, equity. If we all bind together, and as we all bind together, we can be the founders of this new America. We can be the founders of this new world. I promise you we can. We are. I want you to think about what I've said here today. And I know this went extra long. I cut out some of our while we slumbered, slept, and slobbered, because I really wanted to get to this. And this is just a surface introduction. We need to go deeper. We really need to go deeper, because these are the things that break down our ability to have conversation that brings about change. We can't just keep talking. We're not just here to talk. Listen, we've been talking long enough. We done talked ourselves out. But it's been non-profitable or limited profitability that's gone with this talking, because we have to have a plan. We've got to have a design. We've got to have a means by which to get out of here. And this is where I'm saying to you, that framework of Scrum, that framework that allows us to address complex situations. And I'm telling you, there's nothing more complex than what we're trying to deal with right here. We'll keep going around and we'll go around in circles. We'll just keep going around in circles if we don't come up with a vision and a plan that we can get out of here and move forward. We're not going backwards. Now, that's what I'm saying all day long. That's all in my shando. I'm not going backwards. But this is where we take the framework, this Scrum framework, and we begin to utilize it in a way so that we can create an adaptive system. Why do I keep using the word adaptive? Because it's understood that it's in flux. It's understood that it's dynamic, because it's constantly changing. As we learn more, we change more. As we learn more, we grow more. As we understand better, we do better. And so there's a constant evolution, that adaptation. And that's why we have within that adaptation as a pillar that must continue to happen. It cannot become static. It cannot get stuck. It cannot get mired in the old traditional ways. And you cannot make a new tradition out of what we're doing, because that will stunt, retard, slow down, and even stop the process. So you've got to keep it moving. You got to keep it moving. So as we come into this place of, so as a spiritual thought leader, what are you saying? We're going to study DEI because the country and the world is in the situation that we are because somebody said that's a weed. Do you hear me? Somebody said that's a weed. And I'm telling you, ever since I heard that in my head, in my spirit, in my shando the other day, every time I turn around, I keep hearing, who told you that's a weed? Who told you that's a weed? And so the job, what are you going to do when you get off of here? What's the agenda and itinerary for the day and the days that lie ahead? I need you to start with transparency. That's the first pillar. I need you to be transparent with yourself. Now, what did I say the first thing that I needed from you in that circle? Commitment. The first pillar is transparency that holds the structure up. But the first item agenda and what you have got to do and bring to the table is commitment. I need you to be committed to be transparent with yourself. I need all of us, myself included, I need us to go back and become transparent with ourselves. Those places that pop up real quick, fast, and in a hurry, where we can fly off the handle almost without provocation or very little. As the old folks say, a little bit of that gravy goes all over my plate. That means, honey, it don't take a lot. It don't take a lot to take me over the edge. If something's got you where it doesn't take a lot to take you over the edge, if there are people that it doesn't take a lot to take you over the edge, if there's whatever it is, it doesn't take a lot to get you over the edge, I need you to be transparent with yourself. And I need you to look at that thing. Come on, it's going to take some courage, because we're going to do some work. Work on yourself first, and then we're going to come together and work on the world. We are the world. We are. We're going to work on it. So make the commitment, get that courage up, and let's deal with tackling that first pillar, transparency. And I want you to start looking at stuff. Stop lying to yourself. If you've been one of those people that bury your head in the sand, I need you to take your head out of the sand. If you're one of those people that can emotionally disconnect, I need you to reconnect. I need you to come back to the middle, and I need you to see the real deal. No games, no playing. Let's get to work. If you need to get an accountability partner, get an accountability partner and work through it. I'm always an encourager of journaling, writing stuff down, because sometimes writing stuff down will help you see where in the world did that come from, and that was buried deep inside of me. Who knew? But the answer is in there. The answer is in you. If you'll just be transparent enough to stop and really look at it. So to go back to what SK said, this is real work. This is real work. I'm not talking to folk that just want to snap a magic wand, make some religious declarations. I command and I decree. Baby, you're going to do some work. Because to really change the scenario that we're in, I don't have a problem with praying, but y'all been praying all this time and it's getting worse. I don't have a problem with you decreeing and declaring, but y'all been decreeing and declaring and it's getting worse. Y'all done all of this stuff because it's easier to decree and declare, and it's easier to pray than it is to do the work. Am I talking to anybody in here? But I'm telling you today, we are lions, and you're going to hear us roar. Why? Because we are the people that do the work. I feel for my brother. I feel for my sister. And we've included and concluded another day of talking about our word of the day: diversity, equity, and inclusion. And so what am I saying to you? We getting ready to do the work. We're committed. We've got courage. We're focused. Oh, yes, we are. Yes, we are. Yes, we are. We got the openness. I had to see that other word. And we are operating in respect. I hope you've enjoyed today's edition of Yes, You, OQ, one-on-one, just me and you. I've enjoyed talking to you this morning. We've had some laughs. We've had some cracks. We've told some truth. We've had some fun. Up in here, I saw Rhonda Rose. If I only had a brain, that keeps coming back. But like Rhonda Rose said, listen, if you don't deal with it, it will deal with you. Well, listen, what we're doing right now, even in DEI, because we're going to deal with it. We're going to get this thing right. And we are the founders of a brand new world. Good morning and thank you, BTD Mom. Thank you, We Are Babe. Thank you to the Rebel Inc. I want to thank SK8843. I appreciate you. I want to thank you, Rhonda Royal. I want to thank you, Chris G41. I want to thank you for coming up in the house, Teresa. I appreciate you. I want to appreciate you, Jams JJ. I want to appreciate everybody. Dr. LeRae, I appreciate you for coming in and sitting with us on today. To our new Borgno, I appreciate you. I appreciate wherever you're from for coming in and liking the broadcast and sitting with us on today. Well, this is Regina L. Stillman. I am your spiritual thought leader, and I appreciate you every morning, Tuesday through Friday, 7 o'clock to 9 o'clock in the morning. We'll be back tomorrow, same bat time, same bat station, and we're going to continue to talk about diversity, equity, and inclusion. In the meantime, I want you to have peace for your journey. I love you.